Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Wrap. It's not Tuesday, it is Monday Night Raw, directly after the first Raw of 2026 on Netflix. It's a new night for us because, in all honesty, NXT's been dragging a lot lately. It is by far the weakest show in the WWE ecosystem right now. So let's not just wait until Tuesday to talk about the week that was. Let's talk about the week as it's happening on Monday Night Raw, give you a little SmackDown flavor and a splash of NXT as well to get you ready as we begin that road to the Warrior Rumble and ultimately that road to WrestleMania. Welcome to The Wrap right here on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. I'm Keila Cash. Happy New Year to you all as we're back here on a Monday night. All right, and by my side as always is my co-captain, my right hand, the sometimes advocate for. I'm going to let him pick a new advocate for 2026. I think it's time for him to advocate for someone else now because I think Jada Parker is just sidelined out on ice indefinitely. So I'll let him choose tonight a new client to represent. I bring to you back on The Wrap live, as always, the one, the only, for your listening and viewing pleasure, Salty Scott Young. Welcome back, Salty.
Thank you for having me, Keila. As always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. Yes, this is the Upside Down. We are here on a Monday. And for my new client, I am going to stick with the ladies because they've done me well. I'm going with Ren Sinclair for 2026.
All right, Ren Sinclair, 2026 is going to be your new client. You're going to be the advocate for her, giving her that 2026 push and knowing NXT, she'll get pushed right to the main roster by the end of the year with 0 wins.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, but that's okay. As long as she get that main roster money, she's going to get a couple nice title matches this year. I see her turning on Kendall here soon. But yeah, Ren Sinclair is going to be my pick this year. I see some nice things happening for her.
All righty, so that's your advocate. We're going to reassess in about a year from now to see where she stands on NXT, possibly the main roster as well. Do I have a client for this year? Do I want to represent somebody for the year 2026? Let me think for a second. Let me marinate on this for a moment. Who should I represent from NXT or the main roster? Who shall I take on as a client?
Or Tubi. You know, I saw you take a shot at NXT saying it's the worst show on WWE. Or Tubi and Evolve is right there still.
There's some pieces, though. There's some pieces.
That's fair.
Pieces. All right. So I you know what? I'm going to take on 3 clients to get out of Tubi purgatory for 2026. All talented people that can be upgraded to NXT or the main roster. I'm going to represent Callie Armstrong, former Evolve Women's Champion. Sean Legacy, get him off Evolve, put him on NXT. And Jack Cartwheel, get that man off Evolve and put that man on NXT. Those are my clients for 2026 to get upgraded from Tubi to at least the CW, the Melanated Network.
Okay, no love for Nikita Lyons and that wonderful rap she did for Becky Lynch backstage, huh?
Listen, let me tell you something. If you need a guiltiest pleasure for 2026 that makes you feel so bad, but so good at the same time, it might be Nikita Lyons, that you just can't not watch her. You cannot not look away from what you're watching because you don't know what the hell you're watching.
Or what she's gonna say. Even Becky Lynch had to look like, yeah, is this over? Like, how long are you gonna try to keep rapping? This is a bit much, but all right. Nikita Lyons, shout out to you for making it on our show for the first time in 2 years.
Getting represented. All righty. So we got some people in the house tonight. We got Fernando, our guy, our day one guy, talking about a solid Monday Night Raw, but trash finish though. Triple H once again chickens out on pulling the trigger on a major star and a huge WWE moment. We will reassess on that. Hello, Brian from our Discord fam. Hello. And hello, Hassan. Welcome in to the party as well. We are doing very good tonight. Our first live show on a Monday night, right after Monday Night Raw. Thank you for joining in on the party as we're going to dive into some WWE talk in just a moment. But we got to talk a little NBA for our peeps out there because it's what we do. We kind of go through the standings each week with the West and the East. And Scott, I have to just rip the band-aid off. You know what's coming for my team. The Hawks are going to trade Trae Young. And as I told you last week, don't be surprised if he's going to be repping LA.
Yeah, he'll be repping LA Fitness at best. Listen, he's gonna get traded to the Wizards. Okay, he's not going to the Lakers. That's not happening. We don't have anybody that we want to send to ATL, and we don't have any reason to get Trae Young when we already have the worst defender in the league in Luka Doncic. So we're good on that. We'll be fine. We can barely beat the Grizzlies, and I don't think Trae Young is gonna help us do any better in beating a team better than the Grizzlies.
Alrighty. So quickly going through the West right now, the standings are the Thunder 30-7, 5-5 in their last 10. They're running at 500 right now. The Spurs are 25-10, 7-3 in their last 10. The Rockets, number 3, as well as the Lakers, 22-11 apiece. Number 5 are the Denver Nuggets, 23-12. The Timberwolves, number 6, 23-13. The Suns, 21-15. The Warriors in the 8th spot, 19-17. The Trailblazers, 16-20. The Grizzlies, 15-20. And from there, we're just bringing up the rear. No need to mention anyone else. For the East, the Pistons still leading 27-9. The Celtics, number 2 now, 23-12, 1 game ahead of the Knicks, who are also 23-13. The Raptors coming in at number 4, 22-15. The 76ers, 19-14. The Magic and the Heat tied for 6-7 with 20-16. Cavaliers, 20-17. The Bulls, 17-19. The Hawks, 17-21. The Bucks, 16-20. And the rest of the team leading the rear includes the Hornets and so forth. So that is the standings for the East and the West. Anything standing out to you right now, Scott, as we're approaching the All-Star break in about a month's time?
Like I've been saying, after the All-Star break is when things are really going to matter. The Thunder now can probably just take a sigh of relief. They don't have to worry about chasing any records. Yes. And Jaylen Brown is trying to make a strong case for MVP.
Yeah, we shall see how it goes. That is our NBA Yakety Yak to get you through the midway point of the season, which is coming upon us very, very quickly. Now, let's get to one more item of business, Scott. Are you a football fan?
I'm a Bills fan, so, don't really have a lot of hope when it comes playoff time, but I enjoy the regular season.
All righty. So you know that your Bills are going down to Duval County to play the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend. Do you believe the Bills can pull off an upset on the road against Trevor Lawrence and company?
Yeah, I believe they'll do the Lord's work and send Tony Khan home back to AEW so he can focus fully on his company and instead of the football team.
All righty. Well, I have no dog in the fight. I do like the Bears, like Fernando. I enjoy the Bears. I like Houston as well. I would love for the Bills to have a chance to do something in the postseason wide open this year. So I just think that it's anybody's game. It's wide open. The Seahawks have the number 1 seed in the NFC, and then the Broncos have the number 1 seed out in the AFC. So I honestly don't know who's got this, but all I know is that I'm very happy to be an Atlanta Falcons fan because they fired everyone over the last 24 hours. Blessings for me. We're trying to rebuild.
Yeah, you're trying to rebuild after you gave the death hug of the coach and the owner. Y'all got some nasty work going on down there in Atlanta. I don't know what is in y'all's water, but y'all got some nasty work going on. That man gave him a full hug, embrace, and was like, yeah, you did great. An hour later, sent him his papers. Nasty work down there in Atlanta.
Listen, it was nasty, necessary work, and I loved it. And then he told him, can you come back and say goodbye to the team today as you clean out your locker? So I love the petty. It needed to happen, Scott. It was needed to shake things up. We have been treading water for 8 years. We have sucked for 8 straight years. No playoff appearances. It's time to go. We could have won our division by beating the freaking Jets. So we had to go.
Yeah. I'm pulling for Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin if the Bills don't win. I wouldn't mind Mike Tomlin getting another one. I know people hate Aaron Rodgers. but I'd love to see the old gunslinger have one more last rodeo.
Boo hiss. And then circling back to the NBA talk, Fernando knows the Spurs are the only team who beat OKC 3 games in a row in 12 days. That is facts on that. And also, go Bears. Rooting for the Bears against the Packers on Prime Video this Saturday. Fingers crossed they get the job done and not play from behind for most of the game like they've done for most of the season. You can't do that in the playoffs. You will get caught up pretty fast and you will not get back in the game if you are too far behind, especially in the postseason. But enough sports talk, enough NFL talk, enough NBA talk. Let's get to some WWE business, shall we? Let's talk about the first Monday Night Raw of the year, going down live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. It was a Stranger Things edition of Monday Night Raw, a little crossover promotional event between WWE, Netflix, and Stranger Things. As the series wrapped up on New Year's Eve, I watched all 3 volumes over the last month or so. Scott is a Stranger Things fan, is a Stranger Things fan as well. And as you can see by the aesthetic tonight, he's giving you Dustin from his senior year in high school going to college.
Yeah, I look the same age Dustin looked when he was graduating. So, I feel like I'm spot on. And this is for Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. You can take whichever Eddie you want, Guerrero or Munson. Shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie the dog from Frasier. If you want to go that Eddie Munster, Eddie Murphy, Eddie Winslow is an option as well. If you want to shout out the Eddies out there. Okay. All righty. And Lady B coming through saying, I wore my light up jacket for nothing. What a shame. Like, Lady B, listen, keep it on standby. Make sure the bubs are current. You might need it for the Royal Rumble in Riyadh. You might need it for that event. Get your vest, your scarf, and your coat ready. And the learning tree maybe as well.
Well, the walls were broken down. It was just by the Demi-Dogs instead of Chris Jericho. So the walls still got broken down.
By the Hawkins lab as well. That's what happened. Those walls are broken down in the wormhole, apparently. But Scott, what was your thoughts on the aesthetic for Monday Night Raw? We got the van, we got the little creepiness of the slime on the main entranceway at ringside. It was very good in terms of attention to detail. Even the chapters per segment was pretty cool in terms of they know the show, the branding was everything, and I like the theme of it all for the night.
I thought it was one of the best little crossovers and cross promotionals they've done that I've seen in a long time. I think the chapters was really cool. I honestly wouldn't mind some form of the chapters thing sticking. I actually really like that. I thought it worked really well with what segment was coming next. The opening was really cool with the upside down Graves and them coming out. Graves was just throwing all kinds of little Easter eggs and stuff. He called Michael Cole a mouth breather at one point. So I really enjoyed the whole crossover aspect. I thought it was really well done.
I thought so too. Way better than the Fabergé egg from 4 years ago when they tried to promote a movie on Netflix that meant absolutely nothing in hindsight from The Rock, who was not going to appear to promote a damn egg. But I thought this was very clever and sleek. I love the cross promotion of it. It was references I completely got from the beginning because I'm a big Stranger Things fan as well. And it was a nice tip of the cap for the series that wrapped just a few days ago. It was a part of our lives for 10 years if you watched from beginning to end, and it meant a great deal to me as a fan to see those little nuggets on the air for Monday Night Raw. And Scott, did you cry during the finale if you've watched it? Did you shed some tears?
Yeah, I was pretty good throughout the whole thing until the very end. That last 10 minutes and Mike's whole little diatribe at the end was that got me. So yeah, a couple little water drops fell down at the end. That whole speech he gave at the end was really well done. It definitely encapsulated the entire series, the journey that they took. him closing the door on that chapter of the story while his younger siblings and stuff, or his younger sister and all their friends were down there. I thought it was really well done.
Yes, it was the beginning of a new story and a closing of that chapter. And I loved it. I cried too. I cried when Prince came on. I won't say which song got me, but if you know, you know, I was bawling like a baby in the middle of the night. The audacity for them to get me like that for the last episode, it got me. It really, really got me. And Brian asked a very good question. They couldn't get any of the actors to promote the show. Ironically enough, Sadie Sink, who plays Max, was in the area. She was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So they could have got her for this. And they tape early for the Tonight Show. She could have made it over to the Barclays Center, but it wasn't possible. I know there were some rumors about Joe Keery showing up. I didn't believe that. Like that was some fantasy of people wanting them to be there. But I would have thought they could have got some people there to be in the front row or doing some at least tape segments to get the crossover over.
Yeah, David Harbour's in the MCU right now. That dude is not worried about no Netflix, Stranger Things, WWE crossover. Millie Bobby Brown, she doing things with Bon Jovi's, their kid and stuff, and Bon Jovi's son. And then, like you said, Steve Harrington, that man got the #1 song on Spotify. That man is living life right now. He's not worried about it either. So I'm not surprised.
Yep, and then Lady V mentions no Millie Bobby Brown was sad. I wanted a moment with her and Rhea Ripley. That would have been cool if it would have happened, but Millie's booked and busy. She's a mom and she's a wife and she ain't got time. Like, I cashed my last check on that show and I'm Gucci. And I totally understand that. And now, why are you trying to speak this into existence, Lady B? So now we need a Love Island or Love is Blind themed Raw. Get Nick Lachey in there. Put Dom and Liv in the pods.
Listen. Nobody needs to turn the Raw up to 98 degrees. Nobody's asking for that. Okay. Them little karaoke shows that they're doing all over the place. We're good on all of that. So Nick Lachey, you can stay, do whatever hosting gig you got going on. I'm good on that. Dom and Liv doing something. Now that's different. But as far as Nick Lachey goes, let's keep that at about 48 degrees.
48 degrees. You broke Lady V. 48 degrees is wild. And the fact that Scott, what they're doing for work is nasty. Saying they're just hitting up the local karaoke bars. There might be a cruise ship somewhere in America they're on the 90s weekend, somewhere on like Royal Caribbean and having a time, or it could be some kind of 90s tour with the New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys, who are a little bit too big for them now. They're at the Sphere now. It's a little above them at the moment. But to say to even suggest exactly where they are on tour at their local Dave and Buster's, it says a lot. It says a lot.
I mean, Justin Timberlake's doing karaoke with the fans on all his shows, even though they're big stadium shows. He ain't singing either. He's just dropping the mic and doing the wave. So it's no different. He's just doing it at bigger venues.
But for you to just speak a specific location and say that's what they're doing is nasty work. It's nasty. But on the plus side, I will say that I would love to see Liv and Dom on like a Love is Blind or Love Island, because WWE is definitely that. If you watch NXT, that is a reality show that needs to be documented for the record.
Yeah, that's for sure. All the relationships that come and go on that show, and Carmelo talking about bringing Kalani Boredom up to SmackDown. So all that going on.
Sir, see, you have to let go of Kalani. We need to distinct the two. Let's separate the two. We have Kalani, the promo, which is not great. And then we have Kalani, the heel wrestler, who is very good. And I'm a fan of the wrestler who's a heel. Now, she does need work in the promo department. There's no denying that. But what I will not allow you to continue to do is slander Kalani's heel work, at least from a professional wrestling in the ring perspective.
I'll give you that. Listen, your track record of converting me into fans of certain wrestlers and women is pretty good. So I'll give you that. She's a real good wrestler.
I'm undefeated, man. I will convert you to a Kalani lover by the end of this year. She will turn the corner as a heel and she'll start finding her voice and rhythm on the microphone. And you too will not call her Kalani boredom anymore. You will join the Kalani fan train. I do believe that. I'm going to mark it right here for January 5th, 2026.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, you got some work to do because I like Naomi a lot more than I like Kalani. But
Hey,
I digress. But you did convert me to Naomi.
which is my greatest achievement to date. That is my greatest achievement because I had to work hard. I worked long hours. I worked several 9 to 5s for 4 years to get this man to recognize Naomi's greatness. And I have achieved that goal. I unlocked it and I'm proud of myself. But let's get to some Monday Night Raw talk. The first match of the night was for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. It was the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And conventional WWE booking suggests that if the heels lost on SmackDown 3 days before, you're going to retain your championship on this night. But that did not happen as Rhea and Io got the W. I was pleasantly surprised. It was a very good back and forth match. Both baby faces sold throughout, made a comeback, got the hot tag, popped the crowd. And then out of nowhere, Rhea riptide. We had the over the moonsault by Io to Asuka, and the referee says, "Nope, nope, 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 no. You're not the legal person." And Io took out Kyrie on the outside with the dive, which allowed Rhea to get the 1, 2, 3 on Asuka to become the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Really strong match. Good way to start the year. Good way to start the women's tag division, which has been one of the bright spots of Monday Night Raw all year long. And I am curious to see how this goes. They've got some teams lined up for them: Nia and Lash, Charlotte and Alexa. And we know the Kabuki Warriors aren't going anywhere. So I'm excited about this. This has been one of the best parts of WWE consistently all year. Io Sky has been consistently one of the best wrestlers all year. And that reaction Rhea Ripley gets whenever they send her back into the singles division, it's going to be a game changer. So I love this. Great way to start Raw.
Agreed. Nice way to start the show. Championship change. Baby faces win the championship. Fernando shouts out Io and Rhea for winning the championships, and deservedly so. I'm still looking forward to like this multi-person tag team match for the titles. Still would love to see a little TLC action for set titles down the line, as we have a lot of contenders for those titles across Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. But if you are watching Netflix internationally, you have access to watch the show in between commercials, right? So, Scott, there was a contract signing on Monday Night Raw during a break of one Javon Evans. He is officially a member of the Monday Night Raw roster. He's been promoted from NXT. And it happened during an international break on Netflix.
So that explains why I didn't see it, because Triple H couldn't see him. So that's why he didn't make it on the show. So, okay, that explains that. Because why wouldn't you put that on the show? What reason would you have to not put one of your biggest up-and-comers who people are genuinely excited to see on the show, except that you couldn't see him? So I guess I get it.
But Triple H found him backstage. He found him and they took a picture together. Yes, he found him like, "Hey, let me pull you aside. Let me take a picture with you to confirm that, in fact, I saw you tonight and you signed your contract to Monday Night Raw. Congratulations. I see you."
Yeah, off camera. Can't see you behind the lens, but I see you off camera. I mean, whatever. It would have took 10 seconds to just bring him out and say, and Adam, instead of Adam Pearce cutting this promo on Gunther and trying to big boy Raquel Rodriguez, he could have just came out and said the newest signee and let Javon get a nice reaction on this big Raw that a lot of people are probably tuning into. But no, instead, Adam Pearce got to cut a promo on Gunther. Why? What are we doing? What we need to work on our time management. That's what we need to work on for 2026.
Time management and the importance of segments that need to be on Netflix for the world to see, just not our international peeps out there who I love and appreciate too. Like, come on, guys. This is a big moment for him. And yet it's reduced to a 30-second spot on Netflix. Y'all tried it. Very, very rude of you guys. And then you're going to leak it on social media. And then Triple H posts a picture and says, surprise, welcome to Monday Night Raw. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lady B. I'm sure that's going to be the first thing he says on season 3 of Unreal. Man, I was so excited and I didn't even get on the show. But they got Oba got him a nice little promo package. Like, this is crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. And this is not giving me hope for the new year.
I want Javon on season 3 of Unreal to explain the booking of his NXT tenure for the last calendar year. I want Walker HBK to sit there and tell me the steps and the reasoning as to why he never won the NXT championship. He was never coronated. You let him go. Triple H signs him off air. I need a timeline of events to thread that needle for me together.
I just need Triple H to see and acknowledge him. You know what? That's all I need from Triple H. Just acknowledge that man's greatness. He does not need to be he doesn't need to be the Dolph Ziggler of the 2026. Like,
oh God,
he needs to be and listen, there's nothing like at that point, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, Dolph did a great job and he's a great wrestler, but they never saw Dolph for what he could have been, except for someone to get other people over. And I hope that's not what they see Javon as.
Javon should be a champion multiple times over, winning many championships in WWE. He should be the youngest champion in WWE. Bron Breakker talked about how in the world it's been so many years since you had a young true blue champion in WWE, and you have 2 of them. And Javon is 21 years old, and the opportunity is right there to push him as such. He is mature. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He has John Cena's main number for guidance and support and sage advice. I'm like, this is an opening for you to push someone. And my concern is they'll wait until he's 35. And then they'll give him the world championship, and they'll let him pass his peak in prime as we continue to wait for the push of Montez Ford, which is now 4 years too late.
No, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is the same thing that happened with Swerve Strickland. Tony Khan's gonna scoop him up and make him a champion like he did with Swerve. Now Swerve is a made man, got a whole new swag to him, and is believable in any main event that he goes in. And that's what Swerve should have been in WWE. That's what's going to end up happening.
Yes.
So hopefully not, but we've seen the writing on the wall before.
That would be the indictment of the decade. If he were to jump, go to AEW and get that push that Swerve has been getting from Tony Khan for the last 2 years. And that would say everything there is to be said about Triple H and what he's not doing, and how we used to call out Tony for the same thing. But look what he's done. He's made Black champions stand out, have long reigns, get booked strongly, have swag to them. And Triple H, you have a plethora of brothers to choose from to push that can be WrestleMania main eventers tomorrow. And you're going to play around. You're going to twiddle your thumbs and say, no, not this year. We're going to try again next year. Like, now is the time to do what you need to do and do it before it's too late.
Brothers and sisters, shout out to Willow.
Yes, and sisters. Thank you for saying that as well. Like, come on. We need that to translate over to WWE. It can be done. It's got to get out your own way and actually do it. And Lady B said, like, Montez in that chamber match feels like 10 years ago when it was only 3 years ago. And they have done nothing in 3 years to capitalize on that man being over as he was. And they have done squat. He'll be 45 and he'll get his championship run, Lady B. He'll be 45. He'll be Bobby Lashley's age when he gets a dub and a strap.
Well, I'm gonna give him a shot because there is Obafemi, and like you said, Oba should and probably will be champion in 2026. So I'm gonna give Trips a little grace because Oba was on the show. At least he was on the US version of the show. He got a nice little video package. So at least he was on the show. He's just so big you can't miss him. So that's probably the only reason Triple H saw him. So I'm gonna give him a little grace in a couple months and see how we're looking.
We will reassess. And then, as Fernando says, Javon and Oba should be world champion by the end of 2026. We shall see. I will predict, I will go as far as to say, one of them will be champion by the end of this year. One of them. And I'm going to lean more towards Oba than Javon. I think Javon will win a secondary championship in 2026. But I think Oba has a shot to win one of the big gold belts on either Raw or SmackDown to close out the year.
And listen, if Javon wins the IC or US title, that is okay. Like he is only 21. So I have no problem with him winning one of those belts and getting a nice run with that. That is fine. There is a ton of young superstars on the roster, like Dominic, Bron. Like there is a lot of people that they still can have a young champion with. So I'm okay with Javon winning the IC or US title. That's fine because he's got a couple of years to still break that record of the youngest world champion. Obafemi's, but like you mentioned, and like Fernando's talked about, we've talked about this on the show for months at this point. Oba is a guy that you can make champion at any point, and it's believable. That match with Cody Rhodes should have opened everyone's eyes because when he walked out like a man amongst men. He was a monster among men. Braun Strowman's gone. He can have that title now. Mm-hmm. Oba's that guy and should be presented as such.
Yes. And one of their lost feuds, the Hurt Business and the Bloodline, should have had a memorable feud years ago, and yet they did not. That's on Voldemort. That's on Redacted for not doing what he needed to do. Seriously, open opportunity. Could have been a great feud. Could have got the Hurt Business more over as baby faces. Just didn't do it for whatever reason, and we know what the reason was. But we digress. But let's move on to our next segment, which was Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And this match was all right. It was all right. I like Maxine, but I can tell that she's thinking so much about which spot is next that there's not a real flow to anything. And Becky is perfectly fine as always, but it just felt like their prior matches had a bit more heat, sauce, intensity to it that I can get into. And this match was just kind of there. There were moments that stood out, other moments not so much. The story was Maxine picking the leg of Becky Lynch, trying to lock in the ankle lock, and Becky fighting not to tap out. And eventually she got a leverage pin by grabbing the ropes after Maxine went for the lock again. And now we have a new champ in Becky Lynch, two-time IC champion, as Maxine Dupree looked on in shock.
The match wasn't that great. Love the finish, though. I thought that was a nice veteran move to take advantage of a newcomer. I thought that worked really well. Thea Hale, Maxine Dupree is not. Like I think if their roles were reversed, I think Thea Hale would be in a much better spot and would have pulled this off a lot better. But Becky Lynch did the best she could. I think it was the right call to have her back as IC champion. I think she can do a lot more with that belt in the new year. Maybe this is what brings Natty back, brings her to the main roster. This could be a great way to bring her into the fold with that new persona. So we'll see what happens. But I think this kind of, I hate to say exposed because she's gotten over, but I do think this kind of exposed that Maxine's probably not quite as ready as some other would have been in this same spot.
You know who I thought of when watching Maxine during this match, who could have been highlighted in a better way? Kendall Gray.
Kendall Gray would have. Kendall Gray. Oh my gosh, she would have had a great match with Becky Lynch, and I think Becky Lynch would have wanted to go out of her way to make her look incredible, even in a loss. I think so. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Kendall Gray is going to be up next. Like she's going to be the real deal whenever they call her. She's somebody that you throw to the wolves, because she's going to come out with the scratches, with the bruises, but she's going to walk out a wolf herself.
Absolutely. And I think that Maxine just needs reps
Yeah.
on the road. If they had house shows regularly, she could get those reps in, because you can only do so much in a confined environment at the dungeon, at the PC. Yeah, you can train and you can run the ropes and you can learn moves and submissions and you can take bumps and you can run the ropes and you can do all the basics. But to put all of that together in a complete match, that takes reps, that takes time, that takes chemistry with different people over and over and over again. And yes, WWE's road schedule is very limiting, and you can't do that the way we used to 5 or 10 years ago. But when you see other people grow and evolve in WWE from the PC, like a Soruka, like Lola Vice, for example, they've gotten better. And it's not just because it's the PC. They're on the road a lot too, more often, to get those reps in. Lola's working AAA more often. So's working on the road. You see the improvement for people that were just in the system 2 or 3 years ago, and you see them training wheels off, doing way more. So it's possible. I just think that maybe Maxine just needs those reps on the road with that crew on the weekends when they're doing that circuit down south in January and February up north too, leading into these next NXT shows.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think it would hurt anything for Maxine to go down to NXT. Like, I don't think it hurts her reputation. I don't think it would hurt her being over. I think the NXT crowd would embrace her, and like you said, it would give her the reps, let her work with different people. I think that was the other thing. She's only worked with Becky Lynch and Ivy Nile. Like, those are really the only two she worked with. And I kind of agree with Fernando. The story of her as this underdog champion who got better to the level of beating a legend like Becky Lynch was kind of rushed. It wasn't told as a full book as much as it was told as a short story. You know, we should have had a few more weeks of her getting wins over some established people before getting that Becky Lynch. And then after she beats Becky Lynch, show her winning decisively with some confidence. We got the Ivy Nile win. I thought that would have been a good start, but nothing came from that. All we got were 2 promo segments instead of getting 2 more matches to kind of show her getting more confidence, building more confidence, maybe even having a little overconfidence. But we never got any of those stories. So, and I think the crowd reaction also kind of told that as well. But again, it's nothing that Maxine can't recover from. She got over once. She can get over again. And like we've talked about on the show, Becky Lynch is one of the best wrestlers, period, at getting someone over. So whoever comes next for that IC title, she's going to make sure that they look good and they get over. The real test, like with Lyra, for Maxine now, is what do you do when you're out of the Becky Lynch bubble?
Mm-hmm. Can you stand on your own 2 feet? Will you gain something out of it to be a star on your own? Because we know the answer to some questions. Ask Liv, ask Bianca. We've sailed from the Becky experience. Rhea too, like, we have elevated ourselves by working with Becky, and we are top tier level stars now. That's me. So I'm seeing vision, what Becky can do for others. But when you're out there on your own, when it's all said and done, how you gonna get yourself over? Now, Maxine can talk. She has charisma. She has something. But the in-ring stuff's got to get a little bit tightened up for me. Hi, Maria. Welcome into our new night and time. Welcome to the party. And Maria says Becky was the right decision, but eventually she needs to get back to the main event picture. I agree. She's a great gatekeeper, but this goes for the tag team division and the secondary division for the ladies. We need some of y'all to move on up to show some love to the main women's championships, because that division for both Raw and SmackDown is so thin right now. We got people injured on SmackDown, and then poor Stephanie, she is feuding with Raquel still, and then Ivy Nile, and correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, and I love me some Ivy, but did she not lose to Maxine a few weeks ago? Clean as a sheet, fair and square.
Yeah, new hair don't care, Ivy. You know, look, I'm just saying, you don't get just to come with a new do and be like, yo, can I get another shot? It don't work like that. you got beat pretty decisively. So you do got to go to the back of the line, and there's no reason to have you versus Becky Lynch. So yeah, I don't know what they do with that mid card. I mean, you could go back to Lyra and Bailey, which is fine, but I'm kind of with Maria. I hope this is kind of just a short term thing to get it to whoever they want to kind of run that mid card, so Becky Lynch can get back to that top division, because there's a lot of potential when you really look at the women, but they're stacking their tag division, and so NXT might need to have some call ups and really establish that mid card, so Becky Lynch can at least have some people to work with.
Absolutely. And Lady B is asking an important question. AJ versus Becky at WrestleMania. Is that the goal?
I think I'm good. I think WrestlePalooza did what I needed out of it, and the War Games. I'm good, but if that is the goal, I'm sure it'll be fine. It doesn't need to be for the IC title. I don't need to see AJ Lee with the IC belt, but if that's the goal, fine. But I'd personally rather not. That's a nice Royal Rumble match, nice Elimination Chamber match, but I'm good on that at WrestleMania.
Well, it can't be a Rumble match because most likely AJ will be in the Rumble in her cat suit. 30 cat suits for the Rumble. We have to get ready for that in a few weeks' time. Wardrobe is going to have a time sewing together 30 cat suits. They really are. So she's going to have her Chuck Taylor's on top of a cat suit.
Real quick, is she going to have the shorts over top of the cat suit as well?
Yes, absolutely. To complete the aesthetic. Absolutely. We have to go all the way. So she will be at the Rumble, in the Rumble. Becky, I expect her to be in the Rumble to Elimination Chamber. Depends on who wins the Rumble. The losers will have a shot in that chamber for a championship shot at WrestleMania. It will be in Chicago at the United Center. I could see AJ in that mix as well. Becky could cost her, and that would lead to the WrestleMania match. As you said, it does not have to be for a championship. It could just be a grudge match, one-on-one, and I think it will be very good. I think that the closer we get to WrestleMania season, AJ will work more dates for WWE for sure.
Yeah, that's probably true. I could definitely see that happen at Elimination Chamber. That's a nice one-on-one match with that Chicago crowd. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah. Elsewhere on Monday Night Raw, it was ladies' night, so to speak. So Stephanie Vaquer comes out. She has a boot on her foot, unfortunately. Now, it's probably either a worked injury or it's a real injury. I don't know just yet. But she came out there a little limpy, a little hurt from her match against Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez from last week's triple threat match for the women's championship. But she says no injury is going to keep me down. I'm a fighting champion. I've had a wonderful 2025, first four-time champ in WWE. I've done it all, and I'm not afraid to face who's next. But then she gets jumped by Raquel, and Raquel proceeds to go after that injured ankle with the boot on it, and she whoops ass. She takes out Stephanie with the Tejana bomb, goes backstage, beats up Stephanie some more. So it's leading to something. I'm guessing Saturday night's main event, Montreal, Quebec, right before the Rumble.
Yeah, Raquel winning the title would be interesting. She's put in the work. She's had a great year. You had her as, I think, you're one of your most improved wrestlers of 2025. Her winning that title would throw a nice monkey wrench in the Liv Judgment Day story, and that could be how they turn on them. I think this injury is just an excuse to get Liv back that title. I think she's the one who needs that title, really reestablish control, and have Raquel kind of be the dissension, and her and Roxanne eventually turn on her. But this injury is definitely a way to give an out for Stephanie to lose to whoever it's going to be, whether it is Raquel, whether it is Liv, or if Roxanne just sneaks in there. Honestly, this would be a perfect time to do a fatal four-way with those three and Stephanie, because then it's like, what do you do now? Who do you go with? How do they work together? How do they how do they get out of this match still as a unit? So you do have some options, but Raquel is definitely on a path, and her being champion would be a nice change of pace. And I think it would open up some things for Liv to maybe eventually turn back babyface.
It would be different. And we know that Liv is giving side eye to Raquel more and more about her championship quest going after Stephanie. That would not make her happy. Notable that Raquel was not out there for the match between Liv and Lyra. She was already kicked out by Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce because she jumped on Raquel back. She jumped on Stephanie backstage. So that's definitely leading to a championship match. When and where is to be determined, which leads to Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria right before the main event. For the time they were given, I enjoyed the match. I know they can do way more with more time and honestly a hotter crowd. The Brooklyn crowd tonight, outside of the main event and the opening segment and the yeeting of it all, this was a dry Brooklyn crowd. And historically, Brooklyn's up, they're live, they're excited. They were just kind of there tonight. I didn't sense like they thought this was a major show. And in some ways, WWE hyped it as the first anniversary of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, Stranger Things night. But it didn't feel like this massive, all-time important show that we had to tune in for based on how they kind of presented things down the stretch. This match was great in a vacuum for what it was. Liv looked great in her return match, first time back in the ring in 7 months. They worked this on the road over the holidays, so it looked good, and Lyra was selling throughout. So the finisher, Oblivion, beautifully for Liv, as Liv got the W. And as you already know, Liv fit cheddar biscuits all day. Yes.
I think this is more telling of what happens when you leave the Becky Lynch vacuum when it comes to Lyra, man. Like, they've tried to put it with Bayley, and that's only worked so much. And you compared it to last year's Netflix. And if you think about what they had on last year's Netflix special when they first came on, you had The Rock, whether it was corporate Rock, WWE Rock, Final Boss, whatever version of The Rock, it was still The Rock. You had Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa, which was built up. Roman had a grand entrance, and then you had Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. You had, not to mention, in the middle of all that, you had Rhea Ripley winning the WWE Women's title. Like, when you compare the two, and I thought tonight's show was actually pretty good, but when you compare the two, I mean, it's night and it's upside down. It's definitely the upside down version of what we got last year. So I get the Brooklyn crowd being quiet. They have no reason to be excited about a Lyra versus Liv Morgan match. I guarantee if it would have been Bayley in there instead of Lyra, that reaction would have been very different, and there would have been more into the match. It's just the Lyra thing right now. Like, and I think Lyra is a really good wrestler. I think she's worked hard. She did a real good job when they first brought her up and established her. But once she left that Becky vacuum, it was like, now what? What do you do now? And that is the biggest thing. And that kind of separates the top people from everyone else. Like you mentioned, Rhea, Bianca, these people who have been in the Becky vacuum and came out on the other side bigger and better stars has shown. So I just think that's what this is. If that would have been Bayley in there instead of Lyra, we're looking at a whole different reaction for that match. And like you said, the match was pretty good. Good moveset. Great counter by Lyra for the Oblivion earlier in the match where she countered it into a German. Like, they had some nice moves in there, but they just didn't care. And I think that is more so an indictment of the booking of Lyra since she's left the Becky vacuum.
Yeah, and I think that Becky vacuum culminated at SummerSlam last year. Yeah. And for season 2 of WWE Unreal, we're going to get some very real moments because that match was absolutely crapped on by the fans in MetLife. I didn't think the match was that bad, but I think it was a match that deeply affected both of them because you can see them crying backstage. They were not happy about how that match was received. And I don't think Lyra has been the same ever since. And you have to take into account that moment and how you can grow from it and how you can go beyond it. And she's very talented. And I believe she can be a star in WWE. We've seen glimmers of it. She was the workhorse on that show as the first IC champion leading into WrestleMania. She was one of the best workers on that brand. But now you have to kind of figure out what's the next steps in terms of character work. What can I do to get over besides being the lovable bird lady? Because they love the bird lady. They do the little chant and the ooh and the ah when you come out there. But beyond that, what is that extra sauce that's going to get you over as next level? And that's going to be the test, because she's been around Becky dating back to NXT a couple of years ago. And now, what's that next step to complete the evolution of your character and as yourself as a complete worker?
Yeah, and I think she'll find it this year. I think whenever she turns on Bailey or Bailey turns on her, that could be what gives her that little extra edge that she needs. But she just needs something else to really sink her teeth into, because as of right now, that tag team as itself is just kind of spinning its wheels and is just kind of there.
Yeah, agreed for sure. And let's get to the main event. It was a ladies' heavy show, which I enjoyed. But let's get to the main event of the evening, which was for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was the champion CM Punk versus Bron Breakker. And this match was pretty at times. It was ugly at times, but I wasn't bored by the match. We had some overbookedness going on with Division coming out there down the stretch, causing distractions. We had a ref bump. We had some near falls that did get the crowd up and going, thinking that a title change could be possible. Then we had our baby faces come through in the form of Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Penta clean house in the Vision. Love that trio as a team whooping ass. And quickly, sadly, the AJ and Dragon Lee tag team is over. They went their separate ways pretty quickly, which is okay. But it's down to Punk and Breakker one-on-one. And we got some good near falls, some counter wrestling, some submission holds, armbar by Bron Breakker. That took me by surprise. We had CM Punk locking the STF better than John Cena ever could, except last year's Elimination Chamber when he made CM Punk tap out to the very same submission hold. Paul Heyman gets involved and CM Punk lays out Paul Heyman. And then when he was going for a dive, I don't know what happened. I guess he tripped himself between the ropes and he just fell flat. And that was not the first bad bump, because Bron Breakker went for his Frankensteiner or Breakensteiner, slipped, landed on his head like, Lord Jesus, but he recovered, did a take two. And then Bron jumped off the top rope, landed a splash on Punk through the announce table. That did not take out Punk. Punk countered the spear with the knee strike and then ultimately hit the GTS for the dub to retain the championship. And all that talk that Bron Breakker did, what good was it when you were looking at the lights at the end of the night?
Yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was pretty good. I thought we knew the Vision was coming out, but I thought the Masked Avengers coming out and even in the odds was a nice touch. I enjoyed those three. I think that's a nice trio right there. Nice counter for them. The splash through the table, really good spot. Bron was about to do it from the apron. Then he looked at the top rope, got great hang time on that. The suicide dive was exactly what it was called, because that shouldn't happen again. The pile driver, I don't know if his knees buckled before that, but it was ugly in a good way, kind of. Like it wasn't like, besides the Braun slip on the Braun Steiner, everything else kind of worked in this ugly way where it was just this ugly match where they were just trying to finish each other off whatever they could. I like the fact that the spear was protected. We didn't have him kicking out of that. Braun got to kick out of the GTS and the pile driver. So at least Braun got to look good in that regard. Give him something to build off of. CM Punk got a nice win in the main event. Good match. A little underwhelming, anticlimactic as far as, I was expecting either a Braun win or a break the walls down or something to happen. But outside of that, it was a good match and a good way to cap off the show.
I agree. It was a little underwhelming towards the end because I think some people thought that somebody was going to break the walls down and bring out Judas maybe, but that did not happen. That would most likely be saved for the Royal Rumble, if I had to guess, not for Monday Night Raw. And the finish was the finish. It was good for what it was, but it was a little underwhelming because I think some people thought a title change was possible with Bron Breakker being coronated as champion. It's not his time yet, apparently. WWE has a set timetable for things, and tonight wasn't that night. But overall, I thought the match was pretty good for what it was. It was beautiful. It was ugly in spots too, but it was a mess in a good way overall. And that power driver was the ugliest, safest power driver I have seen in quite some time. I must admit it was.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the one he had on Cena on that Raw before WrestleMania. Definitely wasn't that one, but I will take the safety over him crushing Braun's neck, so that's fine. But again, the match was fine for what it was. Good way to cap off the show. It wasn't the epic that I thought they did a good job of building it up throughout the show, but it wasn't the epic that they built it up to be. But I think they might be saving that for later on down the road whenever Braun does get that coordination. If it happens.
I agree. It's better safe than sorry when it comes to hitting power drivers like that, for sure. Glad that Braun's okay, but Braun, protect your neck, okay? Because you have tried it for the last month or so, landing very awkwardly on your head and neck. And one of these days, it's going to come back to bite you in your behind, because I told you how to spear properly. Don't lead with your head first. You've learned that. And now we must learn how not to land on your neck when taking a bump when it goes awry. Land on your back, not your head.
Yeah, he'll learn eventually. You better go read that William Regal tweet again.
Please do read it. You need to bookmark it. You need to go to the library, print a copy of it, post it on your refrigerator, read it every night before you go to bed, put it in your Bible chapter. Do what you must to understand what you need. I'm seriously, because dude, you've been lucky at least 2 times now of what not to do. Come on, protect your neck for your career longevity, for your health and well-being, for your life to walk on 2 good feet, on 2 good legs. Protect your neck. Bookmark that William Regal segment.
Put that Wu-Tang on before you go out for the matches and protect your neck.
Protect your neck. Listen, put some Wu-Tang on, put that thing on repeat, put a star on it, put it in your ears, and listen to it. Protect your neck. And speaking of music, WWE gave the final FU to Travis Scott. They said your 1-year musical contract is up. Eminem, you're in, you're out. Travis, get out. Get out. We're done.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Is that is that an official thing? Is that
the official theme? Godzilla by Eminem and Juice WRLD. Like, okay, come through. Taste. I like it.
4 years late.
I know,
no, the song's dope. The song's still dope. It still works really well.
It is. Like, I was vibing, like, this sounds familiar. I said, first of all, I thought they got Kendrick. They pay for Squabble Up. Like, no. I said, that's Eminem. I said, okay, there we go.
Shout out Maria in the chat for that one too.
Listen, the taste, y'all. Taste level of our listeners.
Okay, Maria. Okay.
Come on. Okay. Come on. I love it. All right. And speaking of taste, let's get to some Friday night SmackDown talk ever so briefly. Okay. Let's skip the Miz. I don't care about him. Shout out to Randy, though. Welcome back to Randy. Looking good. Laying out your boy. Not once, but twice. And then what got me was that he broke him. He broke him.
That boy was laughing while he was on the ground.
He broke him. It's like, Randy, what did you do? And Miz completely lost it. And then Randy said, I apologize.
Well, I don't know if it was the crowd when they started chanting one more time, but he must have said something when he hit that RKO, like, you suck, bro. He said something to him because the Miz just was, he had the biggest smile on his face. Not only that, he had to take 2 RKOs and then he had to get insulted by the man that he put over. It was just a rough night for my man Mike.
Blessings. He broke him before the RKO too. Randy had a fun time with Mike on Friday by breaking him repeatedly. And then Mrs. Very Bad Night continued when Mello basically said, listen, man, I want to thank you for what you did for me. And Miz was like, finally some appreciation. Yeah, because when I got away from you, man, I have been thriving ever since. Thank you so much for getting the hell away from me. Blessings. Happy New Year to you.
The dude won 1 match, 2 matches. Now he's saying it's all because of the Miz. He should be thanking that man.
Listen, he should thank him for one thing, for getting the hell away from him and not having a match. When I tell you, when they wrote that in the dialogue to say, we are not even going to finish this story.
Yeah.
Mella won by default. Okay. It was a walkover, like a tennis match. Walkover. Miz retired from the feud. I love that for me. But let me talk about somebody that debuted on SmackDown on Friday that just changed the entire energy and vibe in the room. And it was not Sami Zayn, because he came out, cut his promo, talked about how his son views him as a failure for all intents and purposes, saying, Dad, how come you're not the never seen 17? How come you've never been world champion? Why can't you be John Cena? How come you suck? So that's basically his son telling his father, you haven't done shit in your life. I've been here for 5 years and I've seen other people succeed more than you have. You brought home some tag team titles and you brought home the US championship. But where's the big belt, Dad? Where's the big world heavyweight championship belt? I can tell my friends about it at school. So he ain't got nothing. Sammy's disappointed. He's on this quest now. Like, I got to do it for my son to prove to him I can be a champion in WWE. No more talking about it. I got to be about it. And then we get the official SmackDown debut of one Trick Willie, Trick Williams on SmackDown in Buffalo, New York, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the fans in Buffalo, they knew the theme. They knew how to say, whoop that. Trick looking clean in all white. The presentation was everything. I miss Booker's ad-libs. I will say that. But overall, Trick presented himself like a star, a superstar, and saying, I'm coming for that championship. Cut off Sammy, like, I'm not done talking. I'm talking here. Like, I am what you see when you see Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, same place, same time. This is me. I'm Trick. It's what I do. I got these lemon pepper steppers on. I'm here to be champion. And Sammy says, I'm here to humble you. I'm here to humble you because you think that all of this inherently belongs to you when it doesn't. It has to be earned and you got to go through me. And they're building up to a match eventually. And then Trick's debut match will be against Rey Fenix this Friday on SmackDown overseas. But overall, in terms of presentation, aura, swag, style, everything that you need to be a star, Trick Williams killed his debut officially. And he's going to be a big time star in WWE if they push him properly.
Yeah, this was the debut that Javon wishes he got. Great segment, great way to debut Trick. And, you know, Sami Zayn was the perfect person for Trick to come opposite to. Because he is that all-American athlete, top tier, looks great, talks great, young. It was absolutely a perfect debut for Trick. And honestly, this could be what Sammy needs, because I think a lot of people are kind of with Maria as far as the whining, him talking about being world champion. This has gone back to him against Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber when he was still running the bloodline. So that's how long he's been talking about wanting to be world champion and doing this and doing that and all that. So this could be what Sammy needs to either set him on the right track or set him back down to where he really has to start from the bottom and work his way back up. Trick Williams has an opportunity to really ascend and go very quickly on that SmackDown side. He already had a face-to-face with Cody Rhodes, so that's got to be in the works. But if he continues to impress like this and Triple H stays away from the show, he's got a really good opportunity to do a lot of good things over there.
Yes, Triple H is unfortunately here. And I can tell you this. SmackDown hasn't been this black since they were on the CW and UPN back in the day. And my network TV. It hasn't been this black in a very long time. And Triple H, you got to get ready to adapt and adjust to this blackness that you're seeing. It's all black. Everything is melanated like NXT on a Tuesday night. You better get used to it, and you better put AI on it, okay? Lady B saying not UPN. Yes,
yeah,
UPN.
Yeah, UPN.
Yes.
Moesha, the Parkers, all that.
Girlfriends.
Okay.
Come on now.
Girlfriend, all
of us.
All of it.
One-on-one. Come on now.
Come on. One on one. Wow. Now that's a show I haven't heard in a long time.
Half and half. I'm going to drop all the names. The Game, the original Game, not Triple H, the Game, the other Game. Come on now.
Yeah, I remember that. But that the one-on-one though, that's the one you sending me back on, because I used to really rock with that show.
Me too. That was my jam too. That was my jam as well. So yes, Lady B, we talking about UPN pure on melanation. It ain't been that black since that time frame. It hasn't been that black since Jagged Edge was on SmackDown for Teddy Long and Crystal's wedding and Jeff Hardy just vibing in the cut. It hasn't been that black in years. In years.
The Under Pressure Network. It's never going away. It'll live on forever.
Sir, not the UP and the Under Pressure Network.
They had to deliver ratings if they wanted to stay on TV with all them black shows and black people starring in them. The Under Pressure Network. Okay, that's why they got that name.
Listen, and not only that, they had all the black shows lined up. And then if you wanted to be in your Star Trek zone, we had Voyager, we had Enterprise for you to get your Trekkie on as well. We had Balance.
Wasn't that with the black leader?
Yes.
Wasn't that with the black? Yes, that's crazy.
Come on, man. They gave you diversity. They gave you like melanation and Star Trek. They gave you space and brothers and sisters rolled into one network. Okay.
Steve Harvey too. Got to shout out Steve Harvey too.
Yeah, shout out to Steve. That was the WB. Shout out to WB. You know, I don't shout out the Frog, but shout out to the WB nonetheless. The WB nonetheless.
No doubt.
You know, I ain't gonna shout out that damn Frog. I can't do it. It's wrong. And then Fernando notes Trick Williams is going to impress us next week versus Rey Fenix. I believe so too. Like, for people that don't watch NXT, and trust me, I understand why. Okay, I understand why. I do. But Trick's excursion in TNA to be the TNA champion come through. He's improved so much. Complete worker. He's got this. In ring, I have no problem at all. And now we're getting real melanated right now because we're getting Living Single shout outs. That was on Fox. Thank you, Lady B. And let's say it for everybody. Living Single, greater than Friends. Let's just put that out there right now. Greater than Friends by multiples.
First of all, Friends is not even a good show. So I don't even think like that needs to be thrown out there like that. Friends is not a good show. It was just the show that was on that people watched. That is not a good show. There is nothing good about it. It's not funny. And again, there were like 3 black people on an entire show called Friends. So I don't buy it, and I didn't like it.
Wasn't my jam either, even though I was pulling for Rachel and Joey because Ross wasn't shit towards the latter seasons. The only reason I started watching Friends, I swear to God, Scott, you want to hear my Friends origin story?
Here we go.
So when I was in elementary school and I had no choice, I sprained my ankle and I was bedridden for like 3 weeks. And the channel, I had no control over the television. And one day Friends was on and I had no choice. And it was when Ross dumped homegirl at the altar and said he still loved Rachel. And from that moment, I knew Ross was a bitch. So
that's a good hook, though. At least that's a good hook. You know, like, okay, let me see the next episode and see what they're gonna do. So I'll give you that. That's at least a good hook to keep you interested for a little bit.
It opened the door, and then like Rachel got pregnant because Ross it wasn't shit. And then Joey wanted to be a daddy and then wanted to be with Rachel, and that did not work out. Like, it opened the pathway for me to be a semi-friend, but
a semi-friend.
Yeah, to be a semi-Friends fan. But Living Single is far superior. The far superior show. Yes,
For
absolutely.
Sure. With a little bit more diversity to it too.
Yes. Okay. I still want to live in that apartment to this day. Those apartments were nice in the 90s in those brownstones, I must say. Just to be hanging out with people. Like on a random weeknight, eating pizza and just chilling and talking. It's just a vibe, man.
Better theme song too.
Yes, come on, Queen. Come on, living single 90s. Come on now, Come on now. There we go. All right. Anything else from SmackDown of note? Oh yes. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. 3 stages of hell. Is it really hell though, Scott? Is it really hell? A straight up match. And then what was the next stage of hell?
Falls Count Anywhere.
So scary. And then the last stage of hell is a steel cage. Hellish, I tell you, hellish.
I mean, at least the NXT one had a street fight in there. The Randy Orton Triple H one had an ambulance match. It's something else. Or no, I'm sorry, not ambulance, a stretcher match. But this is purely here, so that Drew McIntyre can get a pinfall over Cody Rhodes and not win the title. That is the only reason they are having a 3 stages of hell match. And the first one's a singles match. So Drew can get a pinfall victory over Cody. And then Cody can overcome the odds, get his pinfall back, and then pin him again in the steel cage. The only reason this is happening.
So you're basically saying, here, Gina Dam, are you happy now? Here's your pinfall victory over Cody Rhodes. You won't win the last fall. You'll at least win the first fall.
That is 100% what I'm saying. This is, you know what, Drew, you've been a good soldier. We're going to let you pin Cody on TV, but then he's got to beat you 2 times in a row. I mean, this is just as bad as when they used to do the 2 out of 3 falls matches on Monday Night Raw when they first went to 3 hours.
God. Yeah, you are right. And then we're going for like the lowest common denominator heat of Drew McIntyre saying that Dusty's in hell. Like, really?
Right out of the Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio playbook.
From 20 freaking years ago. Is Redacted back in charge of creative to bring that up? Did AI dust that? Did AI dust off that storyline?
That was Kip James. A Kip James special right there.
Speaking of Kip, speaking of our friend Road of the Dog. You know, Scott, you saw the trailer for Unreal, right? Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And him trying to push some tears out. Yeah. Ron, R-Truth called me and they said they let him go. That man was pushing out tears like he had a Visine in his eyes.
You missed it. See, they showed him pulling the Visine back because he had just put it in his eye. That's what you missed, and he had a cold. That's why he was sniffling. So they just forgot to show that part.
Now, Lady B. Now, see why you got to go into the contract renegotiations with this. Time when Rock gave him that sword with that new contract. I don't think this is what you had in mind. Well, that is his fate, unfortunately. You know what? He's got Highlander to film.
But that new contract got him that nice little house on the golf course.
Yes, with the Nutcracker in the front yard.
That came with the contract.
Yes, it did. It sure did. And we got to check on the officer that was in the drink if he's okay because he got dunked. So we're going to pray for him. So that happened. That was SmackDown. It was a better than usual 3-hour show as we get used to it, because Lord knows we got to get used to it. But I thought they filled the 3 hours pretty well. And I stayed awake for at least 2 hours and 30 minutes. I kind of tapped out during the ambulance match, but I woke up to see the end of it and it was all right for what it was. Glad this thing's finally over. And will Scott's prediction of Aleister Black and Damian Priest becoming a tag team come true? To tease me like I didn't get my other tag team, we shall see.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get the Black Priest team that I want, but yeah, Fernando, I definitely remember VKM. I remember those two over there, and yeah, all of that. So trash. But it is what it is.
Yes, alrighty. And before we bid you all adieu, because NXT, now under our new night and time, it brings up the rear because ain't nothing happening on that show of note. We do got to talk about NXT themed special going down tonight, as it's now midnight out in the East. It is New Year's Evil, and it is going to be a lineup of championship matches, some grudge matches mixed in for good measure to ring in the new year. And I do want Scott's quick takes on some match predictions heading into the show tonight. So let me pull up the New Year Evils card and let's dive into who we think is going to walk out with some gold or retain said championship. Let me do my thing here. There we go. Do my little type in here. New Year's Evil 2026 NXT. There we are. Let's go to Wikipedia. Let's get our card pulled up. And the lineup is as follows: a 4-match special. Let's start from least important to most important. So we have Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame in a singles match. No interference from the culling.
I got Tatum getting her win. I think she picks up the win and moves on. But then again, I'm gonna stick with my guy. I got Tatum.
Alrighty. I have Tatum as well to get this match. Next up, Thea Hale versus Blake Monroe with Jordynne Grace in her corner for the NXT Women's North American Championship. I don't trust Jordynne Grace. She's getting called up to SmackDown. She's going to turn on Thea Hale and align with Blake Monroe as Blake regains the championship, as we're also hearing rumblings that Blake could get called up soon.
Yeah, I'm going with Blake as well. I think Jordynne accidentally hits Thea. Then Thea tries to big boy or big girler, big timer, and then Jordynne just decides to maul her.
And I would love to see Jordynne and Blake as a team. I would love to see that. The dynamic would be interesting.
It wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. And then next up, in a match that could very well be awesome, JC Jane versus Kendall Gray for the NXT Women's Championship. I have bought stock in both ladies recently, and I think this could be a sneaky, great match. I do not foresee a title switch, but I think this match could be great.
Yeah, I got JC as well, especially as long as Kendall's got the 2B title. So as long as she's holding that, she's not getting the NXT gold.
Let's see why you got to call it the 2B title, man. That's just cold-blooded, man. The champion of 2B.
I mean, she's a champion, so I'll give her that. But she needs to drop that title so she can start winning the real titles on the Melanated Network.
All right, now listen. 2B is getting into the high-end television business. They're going to be baby Peacock in like the next couple of years, and then eventually we all got to pay. They're going to want. It's going to start at 99 cents to begin, and they're going to incrementally increase to at least $10 by the year 2030.
I am not paying for Tubi as long as Pluto and Roku channel are still around. Okay, I have no reason to pay for Tubi.
Alrighty. I agree, but it's going to be a gateway price for Tubi eventually. Trying to get high-end programming now. I see what they're doing. Slowly but surely.
I saw Martin Lawrence on a Tubi movie. I was like, what in the world is going on?
Listen, the budget is expanding to get more A-listers on Tubi. It's facts. It is.
Is
trying.
He still an A-lister if he's on Tubi, though?
Yes, you are. Still an A-lister if you're on Tubi, getting a bag, even if it's a direct-to-Tubi movie, okay? Tubi is the gateway to BET Plus.
Okay.
If BET Plus is not
pick up your movie, which is the gateway to the next Tyler Perry movie, right?
On BET Plus, yes. Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
It's a gateway to anything Tyler Perry related, okay? It is.
No doubt.
Then our main event, Obafemi versus Leon Slater. in a singles match for the NXT Championship. This is interesting because we got the Obafemi promos going on television right now for both Raw and SmackDown. Do I foresee a title switch because of this possibility? Yes. Leon Slater will win the NXT Championship and he will take it to the first TNA show live on AMC in a couple of weeks. I do believe that will happen.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. They've been promoting this guy pretty hard, letting him get a lot of TV time on different shows, and that would be a big moment for TNA to finally get one of their wrestlers to win an NXT title, to beat Obafemi. Oba's got bigger things on his horizon, and then that opens the door for Ricky Saints to go in and take that title as the new heel on NXT. So yeah, I'm with you. I think Leon Slater pulls off the upset of upsets.
I think so as well. Javon, his reaction should be interesting. I know he signed with Monday Night Raw, but he lost his last match at NXT, and he was kind of miffed that Leon was getting this shot too. So we shall see where it all leads to tonight on NXT. Those are our New Year's Evil picks. And then, of course, we'll talk about them next week right here on The Wrap. And with that, that is about it for today. We want to thank all of you in the chat for joining us tonight. Appreciate the support for our first live show after Monday Night Raw. This will be a regular thing moving forward every Monday around 10:45 p.m. Eastern to get you locked in on all things Monday Night Raw, a little SmackDown talk, and NXT as well to get your week started. Scott, final thoughts of the first week of WWE in 2026?
Good start to the year. I think NXT is going to continue that trend. Like you said, I think there'll be some sneaky good matches on there. But yeah, I think they're off to a good start. We'll see what SmackDown has if they can make it 2 weeks in a row of watchable 3-hour shows, which would be a tough thing for them to do. But good start to the year.
Yeah, for SmackDown, it will be taped this Friday. I know it's going to be live on Netflix internationally for viewers out there, and y'all going to get the benefit of telling us what's happening, and you get to skim through the show quickly if you are able to get through the commercials in record time. So hopefully it's an easy watch for us here in the US on Friday, heading into the first SmackDown overseas, the first of many, because we have to remember there will not be a domestic show for Raw and SmackDown until after the Royal Rumble.
Shout out to the international crowd.
Yeah, y'all getting a lot of great shows. Riyadh's got the Royal Rumble. And then, of course, we'll come back stateside to get you ready for Elimination Chamber in February from Chicago at the United Center. So we'll be back next Monday recapping. Monday Night Raw is taped from Germany. We'll skim through the show in about 90 minutes, go live on YouTube to talk about the show that was on Monday Night Raw and get you prepped for the rest of the week ahead. So as always, I want to thank Salty Scott Young for joining me to recap the week so far in WWE.
Thank you, Keila. As always, it's a pleasure to chop it up and talk all things WWE. Shout out to the chat, Fernando, Lady B, Brian, everyone who showed up, Maria, everyone who came through. We appreciate y'all, especially on the new night, late notice. Shout out to y'all, man. So this will be the new time. See y'all every Monday. And let's expand this thing. Let's get it bigger. Let's get it popping. This was a lot of fun.
Yes, we're getting out of the dead zone that is Tuesday, because NXT is a dead zone show, and we can't talk about a dead zone show on Tuesday. NXT holds a special place in my heart, but it ain't all that for us to be doing a show on Tuesday nights. So Monday's where it's at, and it's a great time to start this on Mondays due to the start of WrestleMania season. Looking forward to all of you joining us on this journey as the road to WrestleMania begins. So until next Monday, that is The Wrap right here on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. For myself and for Salty Scott Young, that is a wrap on all things WWE. Take care and bye-bye to you all.